Welcome to the Kick Him in the Head podcast. And as always, I'm your host Yao with all things MMA. And today we are going to be breaking down EFC 124. And to help me do it tonight, I've got BJ Jenkins and the Kraken. Gentlemen, welcome to Kick Him in the Head.
What's up,
Brendan, how are
man?
you doing tonight?
Great, man. Great to be here. Awesome. Excited for this one, man. Such a good
Ooh,
card.
it was a good card. Aki, how about you?
Yeah, man. You know me and BJJ over here. We always like not seeing eye to eye. So I'm gonna say that was a very lackluster card, man. To be honest, I heard that everybody said like um the prelims were like first rounds and first round finishes, but like to be honest, man, it was kind of a lackluster card. Like it didn't bring the thing, it didn't give me that anticipation. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. As always, let's get it started.
So what's wild is lackluster card, but only the main card. Honestly, the prelims were fire. Like the prelims really were
Dude,
fire. Like it was.
oh my
Yeah.
knockouts.
See.
Oh my gosh.
But with that said, let's get into it. Let's have a quick look at the card. So EFC 124 happened last week Thursday in Johannesburg. There was one fight change on this card. There was a change to the fight between Ingubesi and Mkonazi. Mkonazi was replaced by Rajabu. I had a chat with Godfrey at the event, and it turns out that he doesn't fight in that weight class anymore. He doesn't fight flyweight anymore. But for some reason, he wasn't a card for a flyweight bout, so that's why he didn't take the fight. But yeah, that was the only cancellation on this card. And I think we went through this just a few seconds ago. Looking at the prelims and looking at the main card, I expected fireworks. I got the fireworks I wanted. Achi, how
Yeah.
about you?
To be honest, man, from I would say from Bharat like did exactly what Bharat does. To be honest, but like I would say I think it's the Yamba versus Conclave fight, bro. That one stood out for me, man. That one stood out for me because like it was a good fight, and that choke, bro. Like I could feel it. I could feel it. Yeah.
You know, how about you, Brennan?
Like, dude, the whole card was phenomenal for me. I really enjoyed everything. The crowd was on, dude. Even during post interviews, they like booed people off the mic. Even that crowd was
Yeah. Yeah.
hostile, and dude, the card showed it. Like those athletes when they jumped in there, Caesar. Oh my gosh, that overhand right. Oh, dude, the crowd went nuts.
Clean,
So, dude, what a
absolutely
call!
clean.
What a
But
call!
before we get into those, I think let's start with the main fight. And I think, Achi, you touched on this. The fight between Zakir Badat and Segun Ugunuki, as Ola rightly corrected me last week. This fight, as short as it lasted, was somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me start with you, Achi. At any point in this fight, did you think Badat was in trouble?
Hell no, bro. Like Bharat had everything. He was dialed in, bro. Like from the walkout, from the walkout, like it it just gave me like a Conor McGregor esque like feeling, because you knew he was gonna win. It was like, how was he gonna get it done? Because like from the I think it's the Gladiator walkout song that he has, and you could just feel that it was his moment. He owned it. He took his time. You could see with the walking, he took his time with everything. He was like so calm, so relaxed, and at first I would say the stand up didn't go quite as well for him, but quite as I think it's quite as well as he would have wanted. Obviously, Ogonuke is a striker, so I would think he kind of imposed like his will a bit, like just a little bit of resistance. But once Barat like took him down, it was just over. It was just over. So yeah, shout out to Barat, man.
Now we can see there, like you said, once he took him down, it was just over there. He's gotten an RNC deep as Sagan is just about to tap. You can see the fingers. Now, Brendan, we know that. I mean, heck, you're BJ Jenkins and BJ Jenkins, which is BJJ, right? And we know, but that is a BJJ specialist, and he finished it as most BJJ specialists do with a submission, very specifically an RNC. How would you rate his performance, his overall performance? Because he came into the fight saying, "Listen, I know that I'm a BJJ specialist, but this is MMA. This is a fight." How was his
Dude,
performance, and how do you feel the fact that he ended it like a BJJ practitioner?
he did what he needed to do to get the job done. That's step number one. Most important, get the W. He wasn't like his jiu-jitsu was amazing, 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 amazing. But that other guy wasn't just a pushover either. He was doing the right things. He made him work for it, and but that made the correct decisions, and he had an answer for everything that led up to that choke. So his performance in that sense was amazing, but that guy also wasn't just a pushover. So I don't think it was as easy as he expected it to be.
It really wasn't. Look, I think he definitely finished it quicker than I anticipated. I know that a lot of us were expecting some form of a drawn out war, but he went in there, did what he had to do, and got the finish. Now, speaking about him, and I guess I would say the dominance with which he finished that fight.
Yeah.
Whichever one of you wants to go first, what's next for Badat? Because right now, I mean, he's already got international experience. He's been overseas. We've seen what he's done. He's now come back. He's now a champion here. What do you guys want for him next?
Well, take it away, Brandon.
Look,
I know you want
look,
this. I know you.
straight up off the bat, if he stays, next up is peace. That's straight up. If he stays, the next man in line is the leopard waiting for him. Peace X Ipani. If he goes somewhere, amazing. Amazing for him. I think he'll do well wherever he decides to fight. Amazing. But if he stays, peace is up next.
We saw them at the press conference. It didn't quite sound like Peace was going to be up next for some odd reason. I can't remember exactly what Graham said at the post fight, but Peace was not next. Let me come to you. Yeah. Maybe wait, I don't know. But Achi, maybe you can come in there. Let's say it's not Peace. I mean, in the last show, you yourself, your esteemed self, your honorable self, called X a journeyman. Now he's in line for the title. Do you think he takes that fight and he wins that fight? Because now we've got two guys who are good on the ground, but that and Peace.
Yeah. Personally, I would say like Barat has him covered. You know, I think Barat has Peace covered when it comes to the ground because like if we see like Peace's losses, you know, he has like I think 2 rear naked chokes. I could be wrong. You know, he has 2 rear naked chokes. So the ground game against I think forward pressure guys like he's not been like showing up, you know. So personally, I think Barat should take this one fight just so that I can rub it all on Brandon's face when he loses. But you know, so that's I personally would like to see Peace get rear naked choked again, you know, again. But personally, I would say Barat is just so phenomenal, you know. He needed somebody who was unfortunately it was like a kick. I think Ogonuke is a kickboxer, you know. He's a kickboxer, so obviously he didn't pose such a big threat to his title reign. You see, so maybe if we get somebody who's like more diverse, like Peace, you know, who's gonna get subbed in like maybe the second round or so, like I would very much love to see that fight. And it's only like because of the rivalry in our channel here, man. I want to see that fight, but let me say, Barat is just so phenomenal, man. He's just so phenomenal. It's like, who do you give him if it's not Peace? Who do you give him? You know. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. I think it's much more
yeah, I was out.
than you guys think. I think Peace gives it that.
Yeah. Okay, tell us here then. Okay, what's your strategy? I would say, what's your how does the fight go for you? How do you think the fight goes?
I feel like they play the strikey game for a little bit, Badat shoots, Peace sprawls, and Badat can't get up.
Okay. Then what? It's striking all the way. But Barat has hands.
Mhm. But
Barat has
I
hands.
think
He's got
thicker.
that power
I
too.
think
He's
thicker.
he's got that power too. Yeah, yeah. But then I would say, okay. Uh, let's see who we have. Who what Barat gives us next. Like, cause you saw with the I think it's post fight press conference. He was like, "Let me shoot some animals. Let me see what happens after this." Like but he was like,
And I think we only see that fight probably maybe November, December time.
yeah,
Like if,
yeah.
but there's no
Cool.
one I don't think that can step in like who's more deserving than Peace.
Cool. Yeah. That's
But
true.
that
That's true, man.
goes and he
Because
goes to like I don't know one championship or a UFC contender series or UFC straight. Like I don't know, but if he stays,
I don't think Bara is gonna go to the UFC straight because, like, the UFC is always trying to like weasel their way out into giving these guys big contracts. Because, like, obviously if you sign somebody straight up, you have to pay them more. Where else, if you pay them with a Dana White contender series contract, it's like the money obviously is lower, and it's like maybe you sign them for a 3-fight deal next.
yeah.
Um,
So we'll see.
yeah. So yeah.
I don't know.
We'll
Does
see about
PFL
that, man. But what did you think
as well?
about?
So I don't know.
Do you think Graham is keen on working with those guys?
I
You
don't
know,
know.
because
I
like
don't know.
who I think he interviewed somebody. He interviewed somebody. I think it was a lady who was currently fighting in the
Hey,
PFL,
it was
and yeah, and she was like, I think Graham, like, I don't know, something was weird about like that interview, because like some Graham said something about like
you'll
um
be back.
coming back to, yeah, right, like, did you
Yeah,
hear that comment?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then Yao's back. Are you back, brother? Yeah, we were still on that
Yeah, I'm
conversation.
back. Thank you guys for holding. Yeah,
God,
thank you for holding the fort there, Mike.
Bro, because I'm like, okay, what do we do now?
No, you guys held the fort. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
With that said, we are on to the next fight, which is the co-main event between Timnam Clowley, the Kingslayer, and Triple S Somandla Sibusiso Sobentle. Now, I think for me, this fight was exciting in the build-up. At the press conference, Triple S made sure we understood who the more experienced fighter is in the fight. That's number one. Number two, he made sure that he imposed his experience. Said, "Look, I'm the more experienced fighter here. I know what's going to happen. I know what I'm going to do." And Cloudy was cool, calm, and collected. The press conference and said, "Let's wait and see," basically. And in this fight, we waited and we saw. And the Kingslayer slayed a former contender to now essentially be considered as the number one. Brendan, let me start with you. Imcloudy's performance, I think, was one that he needed in order for him to stake his claim as a potential contender, or maybe next in line, or maybe one fight out from the title. What did you think of his performance?
man, he went in there. He did exactly what he needed to do. I do believe I expected him to finish him. I expected him to finish rain down with those elbows, but he did the job of keeping him down, holding him down, and winning the fight. He did exactly what he needed to do, and well done on him for that.
Achi, he won the fight. Third round, though. Third round. Mans was gassed, right? Like, it looked.
This guy, number one bullshit. Number one bullshit.
Tell us what.
Bro, like, I personally think, like, because he just held him down. He didn't do as much damage. He didn't do as much damage. I personally feel like I wish they had stood them up. There were moments where I wish they had stood them up, because, like, I think Sbusiso was more active, you know. Sbusiso was more active when in the third round than is a team now, I
Yeah,
think.
Tina.
You know,
Similar, yeah.
yeah, more than Timna, you know, because I was probably responsible for booing the shit out of that nigga out of the cage. Because personally, you saw it was like it caught him off guard because he was supposed
Yeah,
to
that
be the
after
guy.
the bell stuff.
Yeah, you know, because like no, not the after the bow stuff. You know, not the after the bow stuff. You know, like because personally, yes, he was supposed to finish it, right? But like I don't know what like Spoosies was doing with the knee, bro. Like knee on the cage, so that like Timna couldn't get full mount or something. Like that was like so good. That was just literally so good. That's like that should be taught in the fucking UFC or something. Because like
Mhm.
Timna had no response for that. You know, he had no response for
Mm.
that, and it looked like Sbusiso was prepared. Even me and Demont, my enemy, you know, we were like, Sbusiso is doing such a great job. You know, he was supposed to get beat up. You know, he was supposed to get beat up, and the third round, man. The third round, I personally think that this fight should have ended in a draw because that I know that's a controversial statement, you know,
You
but
saw the third round as a 10-8.
as a 10-8, as a 10 fucking 8, personally because Sbusiso did more damage. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
imposed his will. Like he did more damage than Timna ever did in all those 2 rounds. You know, he just held him down and just like threw a couple punches. You know, that's the problem. You know, he wasn't that aggressive. You know, he wasn't that aggressive. But I
Just
personally
trying to
think
finish the
it should have been.
But a 10-8 though.
Yeah, I personally think it was a 10. Yes, I know it needed damage, you know, but like Sbusiso was working. Sbusiso was working, and that
Brendan,
is
how do you see it? You look like you're different.
like I don't know if it was a 10-8 round. Like, to be honest with you, I when you got to the third round, you're like, okay, Tim's won this fight. You know exactly what he's gonna do. It's gonna be a repeat of the previous round. So like, I might have dozed off a little bit. Like, man, whatever.
might have dozed off for
Like,
Look,
5 minutes. For
we
five
we,
minutes.
we at
he
that point I was already talking to Nate next to me, saying this guy must come try fight gift like this. Like, this is where this is where my conversation was at this point.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, man, sure. If he says it's a 10-8 round, I can't tell you if it was or not, to be
yeah.
honest. But
Because personally, that's
at
the
the end
thing.
of
You
the
know?
day, Tim did what he needed to do to win, and he should fight Gift Walker next.
What about the sprawling? You know, he
for,
was just sprawling and everything. That's the thing. You know, like somebody's gonna like I think Gift, kudos to him. Gift, maybe this dude sprawls and just do Gift just fucking hits him with a right underhook, you know? Like cause I personally think this guy is a trash fighter. You know, he needs at least 2 more fights. Timna, yes, Timna's a trash fighter. This guy number one bullshit. Number one
Let
bullshit
him
fight.
fight. Let him fight Gift for number one contender.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I personally think
That's a
that
good
because
fight.
like
I think that's a great fight.
that's a good fight.
that'd be a good fight. I think it allows Peace to come back to say, listen, this is the guy that was claiming he's now number one. I'm clearly number one as well. If you look at my past, if you look at my record, if you look at the few losses that I had, now with that, I do like that matchup. Although the 10-8, Achi, from where I was standing, you could see Timna, right? I could see his face, and he was playing to the judges. So he was smiling, doing thumbs up, getting beat up a little bit,
Yeah,
but showing enough of I'm not losing this round that badly. So that 10-8, I can see why the judges
score
um
it that.
wouldn't give that a 10. Yeah, I
Okay,
wouldn't give that one
cool.
a 10-8. But both gents gave us an amazing fight.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think it was definitely worth the matchup. One that they could run back because, like you said, it wasn't as convincing
Yeah,
as it should have been. Now, let's have a look at the wins across the entire card. Starting at the top, as we said, there's a random crown that shouldn't be there. But starting at the top, as we said, Badat defeated Ogonuki. We had Nklauli beating Sovendle. Gonzalez lost to Yemba. We'll talk about that fight. Pretorius lost to Benedito unexpectedly. Calvin Smith lost to Litleng Gamatwini in the first fight on the main card. Then on the prelims, we had Ntando Zondi beating God knows Ndlovu. Setwape losing to Bembe. Bosco, the Battle of the Parley Busters, Achi. Bosco lost to Adams. Sorry,
No,
my bad.
that
I
was a
shouldn't have put
draw.
a green around Bosco. It was a draw.
That
That's
was a
my
draw.
bad. That should not be. Anyway, that was a draw. Bosco and Adams. Jingula with an insane knockout, as Brendan said earlier. Right hook right on the chin of Tebogo M16 Ntene. Then Ingobesi versus Rajabu. Rajabu won that fight. Bizani versus Nakana. Bizani won that fight. All these were finishes, by the way, except for Bosco and the Setope fight. And then Siabi Lamprecht, Lamprecht won, and Vilikazi Santos. Which win or which loss here shocked you the most? Aki, let me start with you.
Pretorius, bro.
Yeah,
Pretorius. Because what the hell was even that? You know? What the hell was even that? Because, like, I think it was like a what? They caught him with a right hook. Then they choked him up. They choked him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was like, was it a guillotine or something?
Mm-hmm.
Guillotine, yeah.
Yeah. Bro, that was crazy. Like, because even the, like, I think if the EFC has that footage of me shocked, man, I couldn't speak, because I'm like, what the? Because I was like,
How did that happen?
bro, because I was like, what the fuck, Because, but then, like, that just shows you, like, the nature of the game and what MMA can do, man. You could be riding high from the walkout
Mm-hmm.
and you could get knocked out in the first round, like I think it's 25 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That
That was
was
nuts.
crazy, bro.
That was
And
nuts.
imagine, yeah, like you said, yo, like at the show there, you were like I think it was also him getting knocked out, like being disorientated, and then like obviously getting choked out. It's like he's freaking out, he's not like literally in his mind. So big shout out to that fight, man. That really shocked me. I
Mm.
will not lie.
Yeah, it was shocking. Although I think they did say that he wasn't looking good. If I look at some of the comments, even before the fight, they said he wasn't looking good. So I guess it was to be expected. But none of us saw that coming. Brendan, which fight for you was shocking? Which one was like, oh, ooh, damn.
Like, shocking for me, like, the Leithle and Smith fights, I thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. I really did. I love both those guys with both my heart. Dude, Leithle trains with us. Calvin's always been a mate. For me, I was like, I don't know who I want to win. But
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be a closer fight. But Leithle put it on him, and that shocked me. That I was like, sure. I thought we were in for a little bit of a jiu-jitsu battle between them, and they stood and were just throwing hands,
Mm-hmm.
and Lethe got the better of the hands, and that was wow.
So from where I was standing, and I said this to you earlier, and I might have missed some of the fight because I was streaming, but every time I was watching, it looked like Kelvin was doing enough for it to be a closer fight than what it came out to be. But from what you just told me, he did get dropped 4 times, etc. But
It was three or
Bro,
4
3 or
times.
4
Yeah.
times, yeah.
yeah.
And I guess with that said, of course, you get dropped or you take damage, you lose a fight, and unfortunately, that's what happened. But great performance from Rush nonetheless.
Dude, what a cracking fight!
Mm.
What a cracking fight! Regardless, it was
Yo.
an
Yeah,
amazing
they
fight.
both brought it.
But sure,
They both brought it.
Yeah, and shout out to Leitler, man. Shout out to Leitler for letting him stand, and like and not pouncing on him like as he went down. But yeah, man, like Smith, Smith was like he fought his battle, he fought his battle, and that fight was just something to remember, man. Like, cause it showed like the levels that I'd never thought Leitler had, personally. Yeah, so I hope he gets a number one contender fight after this. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, number one contender,
I hope so.
flyweight. Mm.
there's
After the wins he's had.
there's a very congested flyweight division right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's some good fights to make, like
Yeah.
good fights to make for that number one contender spot, but it's very up in air at the moment.
Yeah, it's difficult to say that a convincing, and I mean, it did go to decision. It wasn't even a finish, but it's difficult to say that a decision win, even though it's a dominant one, is worth a number one contender spot off the bat. I'm not sure about that. I think for me, the shocking one was what was that? The shocking one was between Rajabu and Ngubese. Uh, Honestly, I would have bet my house on Ngubese winning that fight. As far as we could see, it was a last minute replacement. Uh, his opponent was coming all the way from Tanzania, which means he's traveled. He was coming off of a loss. He's 0-1. I really expected that fight to go. So he was 1-1 to go the way of Ngubese, and it didn't. And it was convincing. There was one engagement. I think they threw like two, three punches and then takedown, and then he just worked him into an arm triangle, and the fight was over. That for me was like, whoa. So why haven't you been here before if you can do what you just did, bro? So for me, that one was I was very impressed by that win. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was just going to be a walkover for Ngubese. It was just going to be one of those fights where he's fighting because he had to fight and he had a fight lined up, and someone said yes. We see those a lot. But Rajabu came in and he did the business. So that for me, that I found very impressive. Now, next on the docket, we are looking at who actually got the performance bonuses on this fight night. And what it is very interesting is that of these performance bonuses, three of them, well, including the fight of the night, three of them were from underdogs. Gonzalez versus Yemba, fight of the night. Yemba won. He was the underdog. Osvaldo Benedito, who was the underdog in his fight against Pretorius, he won. And Litle Ngamatwini, who beat Calvin, was also the underdog. And for me, that says a lot about the kind of odds you get at EFC. It's not easy to pick. I mean, if I look at the odds between these three guys, I mean, what am I saying? Those are the guys I picked. I picked two of those. If you look at their odds, it was about 3 and 4. But they won convincingly. Litle Ngamatwini was 3.5 odds, which is like a lot, like you'd expect him to lose. Benedito was 4.5. You expect him to lose, but they came through with great performances. So it then begs the question with the EFC: does World Sport Betting know these guys well enough? For those of us who like to make money, I'm glad that they don't. But it's very, very interesting.
Dude, we spoke about this with the Peace versus Yaku fight. That was also insane odds.
It didn't make sense. How do you have Peace at 4.3 against Yako, who had just come? It didn't make any sense. So shout out to World Sports Betting for putting money in our pockets. Of these performances, which one impressed you the most? I think we did chat about it a little bit, but of those who got the bonuses, which one impressed you the most?
For me,
oh, go for it, Brendan.
Yeah, dude. For me, Caesar knocking out M16 like that. Wow. Like, he was out for long, man. Like, they got the stretcher in and everything. That's how long he was out for. So he hits him so hard, and you could hear it in the crowd. It was nuts.
I think he was down for about 4 or 5 minutes. Eventually, he stood up, but you could see he was like he wasn't really able to stand properly. It was really, really bad.
I would say Benedito, man. Benedito, like, with probably the shocker of the year so far, because like he just like he had hands. You could see he had hands. He had like very, very good grappling. Very good jujitsu with the choke. And personally, I think that one was like, it shocked me. I was literally screaming my lungs off for Pretorius, and within 25 seconds, my energy had left the room. So if it takes a lot to get me to not switch sides, because like I was Team Pretorius all the way, and like Benedito like made sure that like I knew his name, and I know his name now.
Now you know his name.
Remember the name.
Now.
Yeah, I'll remember the name.
Remember the name. Look, I agree with you. It was, but when you look at Benedito, he's former IMF, and all the guys who come from the amateur circuit that we sometimes don't factor in, but he definitely showing the fact that he used to fight at IMAF. He's a former. For me, the fight was Ju Yemba versus Steven Guts Gonzalez. That fight lived up to the billing. They were going at each other at the presser. They were Baba Yaga was calling out Gonzalez saying, "Bro, listen, if you have intentions, tell me what your intentions are. This is a fight. What are your intentions?" He was responding saying, "Listen, you're gonna find out." And they both brought it. They both wrote it. And for me, I think they definitely deserve the fight of the night. I really enjoyed that fight. I was screaming my lungs out. They both heard me. They both cried. That fight was one that if you are watching on playback, definitely watch the Steven Gonzalez versus Ju Yemba fight. That fight was absolutely phenomenal. Those are the fights that got the performance bonuses. Although one fighter that's missing from this, which honestly I'm like, is Zakir Badat. Because
He
if
did
we
get a
watched the press
bonus.
conference, Zakir,
Yeah.
they said he got a bonus. Where is he here?
Yeah. I noticed that midweek when I saw that as well. I'm like,
They we must ask Graham what happened to Badat's bonus, and then we must fight for Badat.
Under
Justice
the
for
table,
Badat.
boss.
That's what I'm saying. If he didn't get it, a couple of extra thousands, why not? Okay. Now to my favorite part, and unfortunately for us, not everyone's here to own up for it, but we are now gonna go into our underdog parlay competition. For anyone who is watching, the underdog parlay competition is our EFC competition we run before each EFC event. The rules are quite straightforward. You have to pick 3 underdogs. Your final score is the product of the winning odds. You cannot pick fewer than 3 dogs, and the participant with the highest multiplier on that week is the winner. We do also have bonus points, which did come into play this past fight week. We do have bonus points for multiplier if you pick all 3 correct. Upset jackpot if you happen to get combined odds over 50, which McDane would have gotten if Ogunuki had won, which he didn't. That's one of the guys in the competition. And then Black Sheep if you're the only person to pick a fighter on the night. Those are the rules. Now, let's see how we collectively did this week. Wait a second. Oh, it's a mess. I just realized I didn't. Okay, so the dogs that won, as we discussed at the top of the show, were Ju Yemba, Litleng Gamatwini, and Osvaldo Benedito. All the other dogs lost. All the other dogs that were picked. Badat versus Ogunuki lost. Claudi versus Sovendle lost. Chungula versus Ntene, Aki, that was your guy. He lost. Zondi versus Ndlovu lost. And Pretorius, well, we already went to that one. And Bosco versus Adams, my mistake there. It was a draw, so no one wins those points anyway for whoever had picked Lucky Bosco. Now, those were the results of the underdog parlay competition, and we already went through which ones you guys thought were the most shocking. Now let's see how that affects us in terms of the table standings, and let's see how you guys, I guess, will be considering the competition going forward. So, based on 2 fight nights so far, it's EFC 1-3 and EFC 1-4. This is the current rankings, and these are the score tally from the last fight night. Me, yes, the top of the table, Yao. Although I must say, I've been accused of being biased and being corrupt, but I can assure you, there is no corruption here. I might live in South Africa, but there's no corruption here. But that's me, top of the table, head kick pod, followed by the Rambling Dad, who got 20 points on this last fight night, which is shout out to McDane. Do follow, like, subscribe at the Rambling Dad podcast on all platforms. Then we've got Brendan BJ Jenkins coming up in 3rd. Achi,
Bro,
I think let me start with you, bro.
What? Wait. Are you saying I got like 2.25? What about what about Benedito? Benedito was like a 4, right?
You didn't take Benedito. You're rooting for him, but you didn't take him.
I didn't take this guy.
No.
What the fuck? Who did I take then?
You took Intene.
I took a tenner.
Sovendle and wait, where's your 2.5? Yemba.
I took Yamba. Oh
Yeah,
shit,
that's
that's
where you got your
crazy.
2.25 from.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking hell. Damn man, like I'm bad at this shit. Like, hey, don't bet on my picks. Don't bet on my picks. But I'm gonna come back soon, man. Never give up. Never give up.
Look, the one thing I'm seeing in this competition is that if you pick fairly reasonably for at least two events, you can come back. I mean, Ram easily six after the first uh, event. Now he's sitting at number two simply because he hit a whole 20 points and he got the black sheep bonus because he's the only one who picked Benedito. No one else picked Benedito
Yeah.
for the win. Everyone else picked Pretorius. So that's why he managed to get all the way up to a 20. And if he had gotten, if Okonuki had won, he would have 97 points, by the
Yeah,
way.
it was nuts.
That is
I was on that
Like,
train as well.
yeah. When he lost, I was like, because otherwise, I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, that's the current competition standing. That's where we're sitting. So, Aki, let's chat quickly. Elite Slap Sports, right? Your and if I look at how you've been placing your bets, you are going for, I guess it looks like you're going for fighters you prefer or know or like. Are you going to
I
change your
don't
strategy now?
I don't prefer Zbusi so personally. Because I just saw like how his I personally thought he had something to make sure, because like obviously like I said, his fight against Faiz Jacobs was like
Questionable.
that was like yeah, I would say he wasn't there, he wasn't himself. So I picked him obviously because I felt like he was the guy to make the upset, and personally yes, I might have wanted it to be a draw.
I'm so sorry, Ahi, to cut you off. I'm looking at the correct picks. For some reason, Setoape versus Bembe isn't here because Bembe is the 2.25 that you got. It wasn't Yemba. And Bembe won.
Oh,
Yes.
That's where you got your
oh,
points. So you went Bembe and Tennis of Bentley. That's who you picked.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Yes, you're saying.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Like I would say, like I personally felt like Sbusiso had something to prove. Had something to prove. But yeah, hopefully I could get back on this horse again and just analyze these things more. Analyze these things more. But like, come on, man, Sbusiso was going to get it. Like it was like he was fighting. He was fighting, and he wasn't just laying there. And coming from, because you could see that the dude was like trying to, even like when he was standing up, heading into the rounds and heading into the last rounds, he had energy. He had energy, and he looked like
Mhm.
he had a strategy. So yeah, I have no shame picking Sbusiso. I have no shame, and yeah.
Yeah, those shit. So Brendan, so far you're doing well. Third place, just under 15 points behind, which is easy to
Yeah,
catch
yeah.
up on. Happy with your pick so far? Although I think before you say that, one interesting thing is that overall, either the odds were higher for this fight or people took more risks because the overall picks for EFC 123 was about 32 points across
Yeah.
all of us in terms of the accuracy. And now it's 72 points in terms of accuracy that we got on this card. So it means two things. One, our accuracy improved from the last event. And two, we actually picked bigger dogs. And the bigger the
Paid
dogs,
off this time.
the higher the accuracy, ironically. So maybe that can help you just like process how the EFC operates, Achi, because honestly, I think we're looking at at least four dogs per EFC event, at least. Other places it's usually two to three, but here it's sometimes four to five across the entire card, which is a lot. So I guess we have fair pickings where it comes to underdogs in the EFC. So to anyone listening, if you do want to find out which underdogs to pick, how to make your money, if you had taken my picks this week, you would have made 23, no, 21 times your money picking my underdogs. So if you had put in 100 Rand, you would have gotten 2,100 Rand back. If you put in $100, you would have gotten 2,000. Who's putting in $100? Okay, let's say 50. Who put how much do people bet in dollars, guys? Like, if you had dollars, how much did you bet?
$100.
Hey
Yes,
man,
man.
I'm a degenerate. I'm a degenerate. I would put like my
My
month's rent.
neighbors, your mom's rent.
That's crazy. Uh,
Damn, but yeah, man. Hopefully, I can bounce back from this.
no, we
Because
should.
yeah,
Should
um,
look
I personally,
if
I know Shadrach is gonna be the underdog.
if
So
world sports betting continues to be like crazy odds on certain fights, you can catch up real quick, real quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We back
You
out.
know, I'm
What do they
back. My
say?
neighbors give me a headache, but it's okay. Moving right along. Okay, so we are almost done. Nonetheless, we will see how we do at the next EFC event. So everyone, do look out for that show. Upcoming fights. Now, very interestingly, before we talk about what we do know that's upcoming, let's talk about how our EFC champions from 2024 have performed so far. So far, we've lost three champions. Rudy, Big Morel, Edson Machavani. Those three title holders from last year are no longer. We've had three defenses. Faiz Jacobs, JC Lamprat, Zakir Badat from EFC 124. Which champion do you guys think is fighting next? Because where's Luke?
Yeah.
Ah, there's Luke. Okay, not do you think. Let's actually move to the next slide to talk about this one.
Yes,
We know
please.
Luke is coming up next. Now I want to hear from you guys, and please, as Ola would say, I will tolerate no young gun disrespect, gentlemen. Now let's talk about the next title fight that's coming.
Hey man,
Michael versus Insua. Brendan, let me start with you. I'm not even going to prefix it. Let's talk about this fight. Tell me.
Plan B. Plan B. Dude, this guy is going to finish Luke. This is what's gonna happen. Luke's gonna shoot for his life. Shadrach's gonna sprawl, and Shadrach's gonna hit him. Dude, Shadrach and new. And new.
bro, trust
Okay.
me when I say this. Trust me when I say it. Just look at my outfit on the day. Just look at my outfit on the day. Trust me, bro. Like I don't wanna. Okay, let me just say. Okay, I'm gonna paste my fate like the Congolese flag. Okay, I'm gonna have a little casket box painted orange with Luke Michael's face on it. That's how I feel about this fight. Okay, I'm gonna be all blue, bro. I might even come shirtless. I'm gonna wear the
No,
I'm gonna
but
wear the Congolese. I'm gonna wear the
it's winter, my friend. It's winter. Are you sure
Gonna
you
be
want to do
cold.
that?
for this fight. For Shadrach, I would die. We're going duck hunting. We're going duck hunting, bro. We are going duck hunting. I might even have like a rubber duck. Like I said, I want to give Luke Michael a gift. For the post fight press conference. I want to give Luke Michael a gift, which is a duck, a rubber ducky. So that's
Let me
me,
ask you
and
this
I am
question.
going Shadrach.
How is he ducking if he's fighting Shadrach? He's here.
No,
How's
he
that
was that
ducking?
way. Yes, yes, yes. He's not, but he was. He was. So we are going duck
No.
hunting. We are
Ducking would be if
going
he
duck
fought someone
hunting.
else. He didn't fight anyone else. He just went to go fight Badat to
Should
try
have
to do
defended
double
his
double.
belt.
There's nothing wrong with that.
How do you win a
Yes,
belt
we all know
and
that, bro.
go down a division and challenge someone? Defend your belt. First, defend your belt.
Yeah, you know. If he was going up, I would have
No,
understood.
defend your belt.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, man, I'm waiting for him to get like knocked out cold by Blamby. I'm just waiting for that because I feel like when I saw the trailer, man, it felt like when um Thor, not Thor, man, Captain America picked up Mjolnir.
Yeah, when the whole crowd went
Hmm.
nuts.
That's the feeling I got when they dropped it because I was like, oh my fucking god, it's happening. Like, bro, that thing made me reconcile with my enemy. No, I still hate him. Don't worry. Yeah, I still
Wait,
hate the mod. But like,
you
yeah,
hate him because he lost your money, I'm assuming?
no, he wanted to steal my. He wanted to steal ESS. He wanted to steal ESS. He wanted me
I
to
think
pay
tell
three
us
hundred
more since
grand
we're
to be a.
This is very
Yeah,
political.
he wanted me to pay three. He wanted me to pay him 300 grand to be associated with their failing promotion.
Ace.
Yeah, Ace. You didn't know that? Cause like I gave him numbers, right? I was like, yo, bro, for my events, I spent like 25 grand and per event. And he said, then I told him I hosted three events. Not three events, sorry, 8 events last year, the year before. Then dude came up to me and he was like, okay. Um, we shook hands, everything was like, yo, bro, I can't wait, Slap is gonna be crazy at Ace. 2 weeks later, dude calls me. He's like, "Yo, dog, are you free to talk?" And I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, him and his business partner have talked about it, and they feel like I am. They feel like they are giving me a platform, free of charge. So the only way I can be associated with them is if I pay 300 grand to be associated with them. 300
In South
grand,
Africa.
because like I was like, where the fuck. Yeah, and I was like, where the fuck do they get that type of money? Where the fuck do they get that figure?
In South
And
Africa.
a friend of mine made the
Hmm.
calculations. A friend of mine made those calculations, and 300 grand is basically 25 times 8. It's roughly there, So it's 25. So it's 20. It's 50, 50, 50. That's I think 6. 50. You
80K,
see. Yeah, you see, so I was like
800, yeah,
that.
800K.
So he was thinking, I think they wanted to offload their expenses for hosting at the Performance Institute towards me. And I was like, bro, like it's okay. It's not like I'm not yearning to be associated with you. It would have been fun, you know. But other than that, he showed me what kind of man he is. So
Well, that was spicy.
That was like,
yeah, man.
we went on a tangent there.
Yeah.
Bro, I have a reason to hate these guys. Trust me, I
Wait,
have a reason to
wait.
hate these guys.
So
And
you're saying everyone that's
But
blocked you
plan
has a
people to win,
reason?
right?
Hmm?
yeah, they have a reason. Yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, they have a reason. But like, the mod hasn't blocked me. He still has my number. But like, you could, because like, I remember they hosted their next event, and like, I think it was Ace 4 or something, or 3. You know, after that, Ace was done, because I personally think that that's what was going on, because like they were all trying to like squeeze money out of like shitty places, and I was like, that's what you do when you mess with me. The God that I pray to doesn't sleep with secret socks on, bro. Yeah,
Please explain
the
the
God that I
analogy. I
pray
think
to
it's
doesn't
lost on
sleep.
me. Wait. Just that means what exactly?
The
Plan B's gonna
God
win.
that I pray
That's where we
to,
at.
yeah, yeah, man.
That's
The
where we
God that
at.
I pray to doesn't
Plan B's
play.
gonna win, guys. That's where we at.
Yeah, Blamb is gonna win, man. Blamb is gonna win. Like, trust me, bro. Like Luke the Duck. Okay, I guess
Thank you for
from
bringing
today
us
I will
back,
stop
Brendan.
calling him Luke the Duck.
You're welcome.
The 7 and 7 young gun. Come on, man. He's an old gun. This guy,
Look,
like
I love both fighters. I'm a big fan of
WPS.
both fighters. It's gonna be a very interesting fight. I'll make my picks closer to the time. I'm just glad, like Brendan said, the belt is being defended. He's back to challenge at middleweight. I agree he will be shooting for his life, but I mean, use your strengths. If that's what you got, that's what you've got. Blamby is going to use his strength as well, and I think it's just going to be a good fight. I'm glad that the beef hopefully will be settled because I know that there's some bubbling animosity between the two fighters from their previous engagements. So hopefully everyone will be okay after this fight. Before I continue talking about that fight, I just want to shout out Crossover MMA. Do follow, like, subscribe on YouTube. He's saying it's another reminder that comes up will mold DDP. Like, I don't even know what place that has on this show, but I'll put it up simply because I'm gonna have this clip somewhere when DDP beats the Wolf Cross. Okay, just so you know, I'm gonna send this right back to you. Shout out to everyone listening. We have come to the end of our EFC 124 recap show. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for this recap show. I had a good one. As always, let me start with you, Achi. Where can people find you on the socials?
Hey man, I just realized my background was like upside down just now. So that's crazy, you know. So like they can follow me on Elite Slap Sports and everywhere on social media. It's Aki the Kraken man, and you know me. Um, Tuesday before EFC, Tuesday after EFC. Right here, baby.
That's
The
right.
best podcast in the land. The best podcast in the motherland. Head Kick Podcast. Kick them in the head, baby. Let's go.
Shout out. Thank you for that, Achi. Brendan, where can people find you?
Man, down there in the corner, there, BJJ Jenkins 22, Instagram. That's it. That's it.
That's it. And last one, shout out to Cross again. Had to show some love. Thank you for pulling through. Much appreciated. Crossover MMA. And he says Kraken is lit already. No, I think Kraken's tired today. That's fatigue.
Yeah.
Before we disappear,
I'm just tired.
there's one fight. There's one fight I want to say. Make Ntando Zondi versus Nathaniel Kamana. That's the fight I want to see.
Is that a number one contender fight?
That should be a number one contender fight because we know Terrence is fighting Vili for the belt. Number one contender, Zondi versus Kamana. Let's go.
Wait. I'm trying to think right now. I don't actually know Nate's record. Who's Nate fought recently?
Nate just came
Okay.
off beating Cauchelo.
Yes. Before
Moichelo.
that?
Before that, Becky and Kobo. Head kick finish.
You're making me smile.
You just tickled his balls right there. You just tickled his balls.
It now made me excited for it. Okay, so it's 5-6-5. So okay, in terms of okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Do you like that fight, Achi?
Yeah, I would say, man, any time I need to see like Nintendo's only. But like obviously now we've come to the point where yes, he's lost, right? He lost. He needed that humbling, I would say. Zondi needed that humbling. So for now, we need to build him up to be the thing that we have yearning him to become. You know, like he can't be the guy mauling everybody now. We need to see him trialed and tested in battle. You know, because yes, he lost. You know, we need to see him be able to pull shit out of the fire mid fight. You know, we need to see him pull shit out of the fire mid fight and get like maybe lose a round, like in a maybe get a lose by a 10-8, then pull the fight back from like and getting two 10-8s. You know, like we need to see Zondi become Ntando the Zulu. We need to see
And be a
the
great
Zulu
fighter.
warrior. Yeah, becoming a Zulu warrior. I would say that. So that's I personally any fight that gets Zondi to become an international level athlete. I am for it. I am for it.
Makes sense. I like that. That's the last point from tonight. To everyone listening at Head Kick Pod on all platforms, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time,